Hey guys, I bought a car wash 3 years ago, and it's been a really wild ride jumping into a business I literally had no experience in. To recap, the day I bought it, we had the coldest weather in recent history. It was 35 degrees below zero, and almost everything that could break did break. We spent the first month battling frozen pipes, frozen soap, and frozen people. It was truly incredible. Just a few months after that, we had a guy intentionally drive an SU3 through our #1 income earner, our automatic car wash. There's a freaking piece. There's a piece on the ground. This guy ran into it. It did so much damage that we simply couldn't fix the machine, and we had to end up taking on almost a $200,000 loan from the bank to go out and install a new machine that I would say is idiot-proof, but you know what they say about that. Since then, business really has been booming with the new equipment, and we've been able to reinvest a substantial amount of the money coming back into the business to make even more money. But today we've got a major issue to deal with. Our car wash is flooding itself. And worse yet, if we don't fix this in the right way, we could have a $50,000 problem on our hands. Let's go to my car wash business and while I figure out what the heck we're going to do, because let's face it, I don't have $50,000 sitting in the bank marked to use for car wash sewage emergencies. Now, before we get into the problem, I want you guys to give me your comments on what you would do to make my car wash better. Recently, I've been trying to find little things that I can do to save money at my business. For instance, we recently invested in a dumpster. Yes, I'm investing in trash. I spent $1,500 one time to save $100 a month. Now, it'll pay for itself in a little over a year, and more importantly, all of that savings shows up on my balance sheet. So I'd love to hear your ideas and comments on how I can save more money and make more money in the end. All right, let's see how much money we're making today at the car wash. Oh crap, there's a giant hole in the property. They're excavating my driveway. We're not making any money. Hey Josh, how's it going? Do you have the line cleaned out, you think? Or?
I think I got it about here maybe.
Okay.
It's straight solid all the way through.
Okay.
You start flushing it down and you get these big chunks that come down. I'm just trying to get all that out. So that way this ain't happening another time in 2-3 years. This is probably the worst one I've done for you.
The worst one that you've done for me?
Not in the jetting, but like...
The jetting, the worst
job.
Really?
Yeah.
Even when you crawled under my house through the cesspool?
Yes.
That says something. This poor guy crawled under my house that had an active leak from the dishwasher, garbage disposal, and like 2 other things for probably 6 years. It was nasty mess. Now we've got, I'm guessing, $2,500 to $4,000 bill that's going to come up from 1 day worth of work cutting the drain line out. So, meanwhile, that's a $300 power washer with a $100 Amazon jet system on it, that if we would run it for 1 hour every year, this would have never happened. Having said all this, I should probably have this done at my laundromat soon. Let me know in the comments section. There's days and weeks that you just make all the money in the world, like I've had for 2 weeks, and then that money promptly goes to paying something like this. But it's a problem that if we do it right, will never be a problem again. And we'll do the same thing at my second car wash location. So this is done once, and we're going to apply this. And ultimately, I want to get more car washes. So it's going to be a business process, and all my other car washes too. I've got to run to my house. Aaron just called me, my car wash business partner, and said that that line is so plugged at the car wash, they don't know what to do. So Tony, that works for us, he needs a sump pump or a trash pump to throw down into our grease separator to drain all the water out, to figure out what we can do. I think that they want to get it looked down to see if they can put something down there to just blow the line out. So we're headed to my house to go get one of the 3 sump pumps that I own for some reason. I don't know why I have 3 sump pumps, but I do. So we'll run there, grab a sump pump, take it to the car wash, drop it off to Tony and Brian's crew, and hopefully get it straightened out, because this was supposed to be a 3-hour job. We are now into 6 hours on this, and they're going to leave at 5 or 6 o'clock today. And if they leave at 5 or 6 o'clock today and it's not done, it is now a 2-day job, which means the price probably is going to double at that point, and it will have become a much worse mess than it currently is. So. Sump pump, yay, money. It's terrible. I've got a Cybertruck on order. They sent me the email to pay for it. It was $120,000. And I asked myself, I don't know that I will be able to carry around dirty sump pumps like this and a nice fancy truck, because it's just going to end up destroyed. Okay, so we're dropping a, this is a sump pump for my solar water heater for my pool at my house. We actually just came from my house and I pulled this off of my pool. So we're going to throw this down in this grease. This is the grease separator. All right, this is the grease crap. Well, the problem is I don't want to short out. Yeah. My dog or some animal.
No, it won't work. You have to put the cone on it.
Okay. My dog or some animal chewed off the cord for this, so I made a real hillbilly extension cord for it. It's 3 o'clock, we gotta get this done in 3 hours, otherwise we'll be spending a whole nother day worth of work, which I don't wanna do. The machine got stuck. I didn't decide on this. They attached the line to the machine to a van, to the ball hitch on the van. They tried pulling the machine out and the machine got stuck underground. And I'm hoping that the machine that was excavated was down there somewhere. Now this could be something where I try and make myself look really smart and just blame the former owner, but there's really no one here to blame but myself. I had assumed that our last 2 companies had cleaned out the drain lines, and you know what they say about assuming, right? It's totally valid here, and I failed to make sure these contractors had done the extra work that we had requested. And maybe they tried to do it, but they also could have given up after finding out just how bad this sewage line was. One option we even tried was calling the city municipal water department and asking them to come out and see if it was their fault for the line problems. This is usually a good option to try out first, and it's worked for my other properties in my real estate business in the past. Rather than doing all of the work, spending thousands on my line, it's always worth it to see if the city can come out and see if it's their fault, and free of charge, they'll come out and do some work on it. Well, it's really not free. I pay for the sewers through my taxes, but that's a completely separate topic for a different video. Let me know if you want me to do a tax related video. Anyway, after the city came out, they checked, they cleaned, they tested their lines, they gave us really terrible news. The city even came in and ran their own camera underground to try and figure out if the plug was on their side. And it's just this line has been so compacted with so much crap for so long. We had hired at least 1 company, if not 2 companies, to come out and clean these pipes for us. They never did it. This means that on one end of the pipe, we have a broken sewer line jetter, and on the other end, we have tons of garbage that just won't move, regardless of what the machine the city has tried to do to it. This led to the absolute last possible option: bring in heavy equipment and dig up our own parking lot. This is not cheap. Renting these is $500 a day. Now, here's the problem, and I want you to really think about this. If I get on and look for a company that fixes drain lines by tearing up parking lots on the cheap, I'll come out empty-handed. Even worse than that, if I was to call the first or maybe the first 3 companies I could find, I would find that the cost of doing this can range from $10,000 to $50,000. Now, if you had your own car wash, how would you know which one to call? Well, in my case, not only do I have a business partner, but he's also kind of like a nuclear engineer. Not one that glows in the dark and builds high-yield devices, but he's one that deals with fixing all of the sorts of weird day-to-day problems that the civil engineering side of a nuclear facility would have to do. So my business partner Aaron did what would be the most cost-effective thing possible. He called family members that he has in the business who happens to own the large excavator that we need, and he put in a plan together that won't cost us anywhere near $50,000. The day of the work, I started getting a flurry of texts pretty early in the morning about how the progress of tearing up the parking lot was going, and it wasn't going very well at all. I know that's a big shock. They had to excavate not just a little patch of the parking lot, like in our dreams we were hoping that it'd just be like a little 4 foot by 4 foot patch, 2 or 3 feet down and not a problem, but it ended up being 2 very large parts of the parking lot, 6 to 8 feet across, to access the drain line, and we had to dig down more than 6 feet underground. Worse yet was, even after they got the line exposed, they found out just how bad the situation was. There's a 154-foot run of pipe from our car wash tank to the street, and it was completely full
of stuff, sewage, rocks, dirt, who knows what else. 154 feet of 6-inch wide pipe. It was incredible. The crew worked on cleaning the pipe for hours with a new sewer jetter line and felt like they were making almost no progress. Every time they would turn the machine on, it would spray the crew with stuff. That's when poor Josh told us that he had already thrown up at least once that day.
I threw up in there once.
You threw up here once already? Because of the sludge under there?
Just the smell getting to me, I think.
Really? Oh, you poor guy.
They ended up calling me around 3 o'clock to come back to the car wash with a sump pump in the hope that we could use it to drain the main filtration tank down and find maybe where that broken sewer jetter line was located. Maybe that was the culprit of why the excavated line wasn't emptying at all. Slowly but surely the line was getting cleared, and we started taking bets on what would happen next. Would the sewer line break free from all of this garbage in the line, showering everybody in a hail of stuff? We have over 800 gallons of crap that's going to break loose most likely. Or would it slowly break free in a nice organized fashion and flush itself cleanly so that no one had to throw up due to the smell again? So like any good YouTuber, I set up a GoPro camera on the excavator just in case we did get showered with the awful black goo. I mean, if we're going to have everybody's day get ruined, we might as well make some money off the ad, right? Slowly but surely, the line did end up clearing itself without spraying us, and it worked like clockwork. It was a totally great sight to see the line draining. Also, as an interesting side note, all this construction and excavation mess didn't totally kill the business. I can't believe it, but we managed somehow to still make $500 that day at the car wash, even though everything was totally tore up. We had water lines all over the parking lot. We had a manhole cover even open. Spending all this money so far certainly seems worth it, knowing that we've got loyal customers spending money even during this awful mess. And a lot of these problems are also mirrored at my laundromat. This is the day after, and our parking lot is not nearly as flooded. We've had 20 cars already through, and the manhole cover is totally dry. We have this part over here, which is where they would have done some of the excavating work yesterday. Wait, no. Oh, that's extra gravel that they just put for the parking lot. So they made us another little area, and they've just taken cold patch and tamped it down and done a very good job. Like, they did such a good job I couldn't tell from a distance. So this is the cold patch. Here is our little clean out drain. They're going to get a metal cap for that. And then down here, I guess they had enough cold patch, so they fixed some holes in our parking lot. At some point, we're going to have to fix this parking lot and probably have it milled down and then resurfaced, which is very expensive. That's not cheap. So down here, you can see where they had all the sand pile and all of the equipment stored. Here's the big giant hole that they've gone in. They've poured sand in and built a gravel base up, and now they have cold patched it, and it looks pretty good. So this is the drain clean out right here, so we can now have it serviced twice a year, or once a year. For me and a lot of business owners, this is the reality of what goes on. There's a saying, you make money in wheelbarrow loads, but then you spend it in dump truck loads. Meaning the money comes in at a decent bit, but when there's an expense, it's usually terrible. But it's also the benefit of owning a business like this. If I was an institutional or out-of-state investor, I might run into a scenario where I would call the $50,000 guy and spend all that money. But because my business partner's been great and we've made wise decisions here, we're going to get stuck or have to pay maybe between $2,500 and $5,000. We now have a preventative maintenance program in place so that the lines will get jetted out on a very regular basis so it never happens again.